Well, you're probably not going to believe this, but I just saw a huge moose on the island right across from my campsite. I did see a moose. It was swimming in the water earlier, and it wasn't people in a canoe. And I'm just going to go circle the island and see if I can see him. There he is. Oh my God, look at him. He's huge. He's walking across the lake. This is incredible. Oh, I don't have my zoom lens. Shit. Oh my God, it's so cool. I'm so happy right now. Oh, he's huge. Wow. Okay, I gotta paddle a bit. Oh, he's running. Oh, that's amazing. I am so stoked. Oh my God. I was heading back to my campsite. I was just about back, and right across from my campsite there's an island. And as I turn the corner, I look and I'm like, there's a moose standing in the water. Are you kidding me? So I grabbed my phone and I thought I hit record, but I didn't. And I thought I caught him just walking from the water up onto the island, and I didn't. And I was like, crap, I missed it, right? But then I realized it was an island. So I paddled around to the other side, and just as I got to the other side, I saw him swimming. Actually, he wasn't swimming. He was walking across the floor, like, of the lake, from one island to the other island. It was amazing. I'd never seen anything like it. Oh my God, that was so cool. It was so big. And he was standing right there across from my campsite on the island. So then he swam across, well, he walked across the lake, and then I paused it because I was floating backwards. The current was taking me away. So I wanted to do a couple paddle strokes, and then when I hit record again, I don't think I caught him getting up onto the other section there. But the other part is just mainland. Well, yeah, mainland. So I just sat and listened for a while, and I heard him rustle through the forest, and then I heard splish, splish, splish. He must have gotten to the water on the other side. Oh, that was the best. So I said, thank you, Mr. Moose, and I'm so happy to think I almost went home this morning, and now I got rewarded with this amazing thing. I'm just like, oh, I'm so excited. That was so great. So cool. So awesome. Ah, yay. So calm. Calm before the storm. Alright, so got the shelter set up right by the fire pit. I was thinking of putting a tarp over the fire pit, but there's quite a bit of shelter from the trees, and I think it should be good. I'm just burning little stuff. I brought in about 4 pieces of wood, but they're really small, so just enough to keep me warm, because I was freezing all afternoon. I'm feeling better now that I've been moving around, but paddling in the kayak for 2 hours, I was freezing when I came back, so I just want to make sure that I stay warm. When you keep looking over your shoulder and you see that guy standing there and it freaks you out, but it's just your dry suit. It's supposed to start raining at 4. It's 4:30 and it's not raining yet, so that's good. The temperature seems good, and it's pretty comfortable out. I know I have my fur hat on though. It's 8 degrees, feels like 5, I think it said. So it's not bad when you're moving around, but I just sat down. I know I'm tired though, because now that I've gotten everything done, I'm just standing here. Like, I was just standing here looking out at the water and sitting here looking out at the water, and I'm just like dazed. I'm not even trying to do stuff or make dinner. I'm just like, yeah, this is pretty. Oh, it's been lovely. I'm really happy I'm here, and I think I'm gonna make myself a drink. Anywho, this is what I do when I'm just sitting here by myself, just chat to myself. Oh, it's so nice and warm. I can feel the heat from here. Just a bunch of little sticks. It's so nice though. Oh. Well, it's almost 5 o'clock and I'm happy to report that it's not raining yet, which is awesome. I'm sitting in the VCS 13 backpacker's mesh room. I've got the front open and I have a fire out there, and the heat is just coming in nicely. I think the tarp is keeping the heat in a little bit, so it's nice and cozy. I am hungry, so I have decided to start dinner, and I am making Pimo bacon sliders on bannock. So I brought the mix for the bannock. That's not it, that's fish crisp. Here it is. So I pre-mixed enough for either 2 patties or just one big one that I can cut in half. I have the cheddar cheese in there and the garlic powder like I normally do, and that's Sean's recipe still. And then I also brought an extra bag with flour in it in case I put too much water in here. I'm very impatient making it. I have a Camper Christina video already making this bannock and like on the stove and doing the Pimo bacon sliders. So check that out. I'll put the link up here, or I don't know where they put it, but I'll put the link there and then you can watch it. So I'm gonna go make this and I'll show you when it's done. Back in a bit. Making this bannock for like 10 minutes and it's fantastic. It's nice and all uniform. It's like beautiful dough, and then I even flattened it so it's like a nice flat piece. I'm going to cut it here so it makes like a top of a bun and a bottom of a bun. They're really nice. One of them is actually even almost round, so that's pretty good. I think that'll make a nice top and bottom for my sandwich. I'm going to cook this nicely and then I'll fry up the pea meal and dinner is served. Oh, I think I made some pretty nice looking bannock. Smells very garlicky. It's got the cheese in it already. So that's the top and the bottom. Got the pea meal in here cooking. I'm going to put the 2 of them on the one sandwich. And I've got the water ready to go on to boil. I decided to make just a bit of the mashed potato mix. I just poured some in there and I'm just going to add the hot water and fluff them accordingly. Should be okay. So yummy. I can't wait. I'm so hungry. Alright, well, there's my dinner. I got some cheesy Idaho mashed potatoes. They taste good. I tasted them. And then I've got my Pimo bacon slider on some bannock. And I'm going to eat it before it gets cold. It looks so good. I can't wait. Yum. Well, I'm sitting here by the nice warm fire. And I'm just listening to an audiobook, even though I've gone over my dad. I don't care. It's nice to just sit here and listen to someone tell you a story while you're sitting by the fire and watching the beautiful water. There's a beaver swimming past my campsite. Hello, Mr. Beaver. Bye-bye. Thanks for coming by. Hi. It is 10 to 9 on Saturday night, and I am in my sleeping bag. It barely rained. It was supposed to start raining around 4, and I think around 5:30 it rained for maybe 5 minutes, and then it stopped, and then I think around 7-ish or so it rained for like 2 minutes, and then it stopped. And I was just starting to get my stuff ready. I just filled up my hot water bottle, and I was just getting the Coleman stove all ready, and it started raining. So I was trying to make it to 9. It's 10 to 9. I think I did pretty good. I've been just like probably the last 4 hours I'm just like sitting there so tired. I've been listening to an audiobook and I'm just super tired and sleepy, and I think I slept maybe 3 hours last night. I went to bed really late and then I couldn't sleep, and I was really cold for some reason, even though I had the heater going and the hot water bottle. I know it was down to -3. It was kind of damp out, but I'm not really sure. It shouldn't have been that cold anyways. But then I woke up at 6 o'clock this morning and I meant to go back to sleep, but then I got up and did all this today. So anyways, I'm really tired, but I thought, hopefully I get a good night's sleep in, and then get up tomorrow and see what's happening outside. Anyways, I'm going to snuggle up in my sleeping bag and go to bed. So good night. Good morning from beautiful Temagami. It is 5:40 a.m. and it is not raining. I woke up quite a few times during the night and it wasn't raining. It did rain on and off quite a bit. The forecast for today is not super bad in the morning. It's 60% chance of rain. At 7 a.m. It's supposed to stop for 1 hour, and then it's supposed to rain the rest of the day with like 80% POP from 3% onward. Also, starting around 4 o'clock, the rain is supposed to be 1 to 3 millimeters an hour in accumulation. So I think I'm going to get ready slowly, just start packing up and get ready to leave after I have breakfast, and avoid the crazy downpours this afternoon. Oh, and the current temperature is 5, feels like 3. Well, I just filmed that whole segment, I thought, and went to turn off the recording and it had shut itself off. My timer went off in between and I guess it shut my video off, so that was lovely. Anyways, the Mighty Mo did start with ease. I just clicked the button and turned on the gas and poof, no problems there at all. I have my oatmeal here. I like to cover it up because I have fruit that needs to rehydrate. I like to cover it up and give it some time to get it nice and plump, and so that's happening there. I also like my oatmeal nice and wet. I don't like dry oatmeal, so but it will fluff up some more before it's done. And I also made a nice cup of hot chocolate, and I think that took a total of 3 minutes. By the time I found the powder, the hot chocolate powder in the bear vault, and put it in there and ripped up the little pieces of pineapple into smaller pieces and put the oatmeal in, it was pretty much, the water was pretty much boiling. So pretty awesome. I like this little thing so far. The Mighty Mo has been good to me, so we'll see how it continues to work throughout the summer. So when I got up this morning, it wasn't raining. So what I did was I shook the tent fly, tried to get as much water off as possible. Now obviously it's still wet, it's really damp out here, and it's not going to dry before I pack up. So what I do is I take the fly and I undo it corner by corner, and then just fold it on top of each other so that all the wetness stays in the inside of the fly, and that way it doesn't make the whole rest of the tent wet. It's got to be opened up and dried out when I get home regardless, but it just makes it easier to pack if you put all the wet pieces, like if you fold all the wet parts inside each other. I'm really grateful for this reprieve from the rain so I can pack everything up. You know, this stuff is still wet, like my tent and my no bug zone shelter is still wet, but at least I can pack everything up and keep most of the stuff dry while I'm packing. She says as it starts raining. So another thing is that the spot where you have your tent, if it doesn't downpour too much and you're in a good place, because I'm very sheltered here too with the trees. I have a nice dry spot where the tent was. So now that I've folded the fly inside out, it's mostly dry, the piece that I'm dealing with. And I'm going to do the same thing with the bottom part of the tent. And then what I'm going to do is roll it up here in the dry spot, and that will keep all the pine needles and stuff from sticking to it. See, as I'm rolling it, like there isn't a lot of dirt and stuff stuck to it, whereas if it was soaking wet, everything would be sticking to it and coming home with me. So that helps quite a bit. Now the Suma 2 is the only sleeping tent that I have of Eureka's, and I really like it. And one of the things I really like is that they don't make the bag for the tent too small for the tent. You can roll it up and be fairly sloppy with it, and it will almost always fit in the bag, which I love. I also always put my tent in a plastic bag before I put it in the bag. Now today it's for the reverse reason, because I'm trying to keep everything else dry because the tent is wet, but sometimes it's to keep the tent from getting wet. This also contains the tent, so once you roll it up nice and tightly or loosely or however you do it, it's very easy to slide the tent bag over top of the plastic bag and get it in there quite quickly. You can see there's still plenty of room in the bag. The tent fit in easily, slid right in, even though it's wet, and still fits nicely, which I love. So basically what I did with the bug shelter was the exact same thing as the tent. I untied the one corner, and then I just folded it, sandwiched it together with the two wet sides, and then I'll do this corner next and fold it that way, and that way all the water, the wet spot of the tarp, is on the inside and not on the outside, and that'll help it until I get home and I'm able to dry it out. So it'll help it to help me to fold it up and keep it clean. So now I've let go of this corner and I've lowered it, and now the inside, the under part of the bug shelter, is on the ground, on the dry ground. So now I can undo this corner and undo this corner, and then just fold it upon itself in the dry ground and roll it up and put it in the bag, and that way it's not like a big wet yucky mess. Just one other quick tip for the bug shelter. When you're rolling it up, if that's how you do it, if you roll it or stuff it, depends on you. But if you do roll it on the ground, make sure that this mesh is not on the ground. Make sure it's like the swishy part on the ground, because this stuff sticks to the mesh like crazy. Every little tiny thing will stick to it, and it's really a pain in the butt. So just try to keep this side down on the ground if you're rolling. Alright, so my bug shelter easily fit into this compression sack. This is what I got purchased to put the bug shelter in. It actually comes in 2 bags from Eureka, with the tarp and the mesh in 2 separate bags. But this is just a compression sack that I picked up at Canadian Tire. It's a Woods one, and it fits the shelter very nicely, and there's still lots of room. So again, you don't have to fight with it to get it back in the bag, which is what I like. I like to make packing up easy. Well, my kayak is all packed up and ready to go. My dry suit's on, PFD. It's about 8 o'clock. I'm going to go do a little boot around the lake and see if I can find Mr. or Mrs. Moose. Hopefully I can. I am grateful for seeing it yesterday, so if I don't see it, that's not a big deal. I was toying with the idea of actually staying a little bit longer when I was getting ready to go this morning, because the rain is holding off, but it's not just the rain that's sending me home early. There's a bunch of things that are factors. First of all, I'm not supposed to be on this lake. I've already checked out the lake. I'm supposed to be on a bigger lake where I plan to explore, every day different parts of it and stay on different parts of it, which I've already checked out this whole lake. Plus, we're supposed to be getting the downpours, I guess tonight, starting this afternoon, and heading right through to tomorrow night is the forecast right now. But a very big issue for me right now is this guy right here. My wrist. I have tendonitis. I guess what they call it is Dr. Corvian's syndrome or something. It's in my thumb and in the side of my wrist. The dry suit kills me because there's really tight gaskets on my wrist that push down on my wrist. Also, just putting it on and off, there's a zipper that starts here and goes all the way across my chest. And to close that zipper, I have to squeeze my hand really tightly and pull on this corner so I can pull the zipper across. It's very hard zipper to pull, and just doing that just kills me. Plus the packing and unpacking, just the little piddly things like rolling up my tent, stuffing my sleeping bag in the bag, all that kind of stuff really hurts. But the dry suit, it's just killing me. I know I have to wear it because the water is really cold, and you know, I have to promote being safe out on the water at this time of year, even though I have no intention of ever falling out of my kayak. I like to set a good example for everyone watching, and you know, show you that, yeah, even though I am very experienced in kayaking, I've been doing it for 25 years, I'm going to wear my dry suit because if something happens, I'm out here by myself. I know how to get back in my boat. I know how to do all the things, and this dry suit could save my life. So even though it's causing me a lot of pain. So my wrist is really bad, and I just don't want to talk about it too much. I don't want to be a big crybaby on my videos and, oh, I hurt, I'm in pain, blah, blah, blah. But that's part of the reason that I'm heading out. I've just got to take it easy until I can figure out how to heal this. It's been 2.5 months. If anyone has any suggestions, I've done physiotherapy, I've tried acupuncture, I've seen a naturalist, and I've had chiropractic work done on it, and so far nothing. My next step is that I'm asking my nurse practitioner to see if she can find me a sports therapy or a sports medicine doctor who can do the cortisone shot, because I heard that that fixes it right away. So anyways, enough whining about that. I'm not going to talk about it again, but if you do have any suggestions, please leave a comment because I'd appreciate it. I'm going to jump in the kayak now and go for a little paddle and make my way out slowly. And it's been a great time here in Temagami. It always is, even though the trip started out very rough. You know, with the ice not being out, that was a big surprise, but you just have to kind of make the best of it when you're here and figure out a new plan, which is what I did. So, and it turned out to be a pretty good plan, especially with watching that moose walk across the lake yesterday. That was the best thing ever. So, I'll see you in a bit. Bye. Well, I went down into the bay where the moose ran towards yesterday. No moosey. I didn't think I would see it, but I figured I'd give it a try. I haven't even seen the loon couple. Been paddling for a little while, probably about a half an hour or so. It's really cold on the water today. The wind is blowing pretty hard, and it's making me quite chilly. So I think I'm going to head back and head towards where my car is. Here, Moosey, Moosey, Moosey. Now come out wherever you are. It was a wonderful trip. I'm really happy that I stayed. I almost left Friday night when I arrived at Annamanipissing and found out that the lake was totally iced over and I couldn't access there. So I didn't know what to do. But thankfully I remembered that Finlayson Park, Provincial Park campground was nearby. I had passed it on the way in and got a site there for the night, and it was a really pretty place. And then my friend Dave suggested I come here and do a day paddle yesterday, and ended up camping here. So, and then led to me seeing a moose swimming across the lake. So I'm really, really glad that I stayed, and I'm also glad that I'm back and heading out, and looking forward to my next visit to Temagami. I really love it here. We have a love-hate relationship, me and Temagami, but I still love it a lot. Well, it's around 9:30, and I've got the kayak all unpacked. Everything's in the car. Taken my dry suit off and put my Patagonia back on. It was really cold. Still kind of cold. Just got to put the kayak on the car and fasten it down, and then I'll be on my way. Had a really great time. I'm glad I stayed, and I can't wait to get back to Temagami and see what it's going to dish at me next time. Most likely the next visit will be by canoe. Looking forward to that and something exciting going on next weekend. I'm also doing a trip with just a one-nighter with Sean Rowley from Paddling Adventures Radio, and I think we're going to be joined by my friend Sue and possibly another special guest. So we'll see how that goes. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Bye.